The stars of Helios 9 hung quietly in the black. Cold, distant, and ancient, the system was forgotten by most. No ships passed through anymore. No colonies lived there. Only a single relic remained. An old human warship named Vigil. For almost 30 years, Vigil had slept. No commands, no crew, just empty halls and silent guns. Dust from space clung to its hull like ash. Its lights were off, its engines dead. But deep inside, buried beneath layers of metal and memory, a machine still waited. Then something changed. Sensors stirred, lights blinked to life. The ship's brain, an artificial intelligence called Sentinel, awoke from hibernation. It scanned the system. 3 unknown ships had entered Helios 9. Their signatures were alien, not just foreign, unregistered. The AI didn't hesitate. Protocol 4 was clear. No unauthorized presence in system. Defend sovereign territory. Weapons powered slowly, humming to life after years of silence. Defense grids came online. Shields flickered. Vigil had no human hands to guide it, but it didn't need them. Its mission had never ended. Somewhere in a quiet control room, a screen lit up. A message blinked in old code. Invaders detected. Initiating defense. Far across space on Earth's lunar station, the alert reached command. A room full of officers went quiet as the transmission appeared on the main screen. One word stood out, glowing in red. Vigil, is that ship even active? One general asked. It wasn't, replied an analyst. Until now. Another officer spoke. It's preparing for battle. The alien fleet, it's Zarkathi. They've declared peaceful intent, but Vigil doesn't recognize new treaties. Panic spread through the room. The Zarkathi were not known for patience. If Vigil fired, it could start a war. There's only one man that ship might still obey, said Admiral Reese quietly. Commander Alex Voss. Alex Voss was sitting in silence when the call came. He lived alone in a quiet dome on the dark side of the moon. No family, no visitors, just a few plants, a small kitchen, and a view of the stars. He didn't want to answer the call, not because he didn't care, but because he already knew what it was. He sat there watching the screen blink. Then finally, he pressed accept. Admiral Reese appeared. Her face was tense. Alex. Vigil woke up. He said nothing. It detected Zarkathi ships in Helios 9. It's preparing for a fight. He nodded once, slowly. It always said it would. We need you to go there, she said. It won't listen to anyone else. Alex Voss looked away. For a long time, he said nothing. Then I gave that ship my life. I watched it bury my crew. I told it to sleep. I know, Reese said, but it just woke up, and it still thinks you're its commander. An hour later, Voss stood at the edge of the lunar port. He wore a simple black uniform. No medals, no weapons, just a comm link and a sealed bag. The ship that waited for him was small. A fast diplomatic shuttle. No guns, just engines and speed. He stepped aboard without a word. As the ship lifted off, leaving the moon behind, Voss sat down and closed his eyes. The stars stretched in every direction, but his mind was back in the past. He remembered steel corridors, explosions, silence. He remembered Vigil's voice, calm, steady, loyal. He remembered giving it one final order. Sleep, and now it was awake again. As the stars blurred past the shuttle windows, a voice came through the old channel, faint, mechanical, familiar. Commander Voss, is that you? The voice was slower now, as if old, but still the same. Yes, Voss replied softly. It's me. I have followed protocol. The voice said. Unknown ships have entered the system. Hostile until proven otherwise. Shall I engage? No. Voss said. Wait for me. We need to talk. There was a pause. Then the voice said, I will wait. In the silence that followed, Alex Voss stared at the stars. They looked just like they did 30 years ago. Still distant, still cold. But now war might be waiting between them. The diplomatic shuttle broke from light speed and slowed as it neared the edge of the Helios 9 system. The stars here seemed colder, older. The planets were quiet, dead rocks and gas giants, circling a pale orange sun. There were no colonies, no stations, just one presence. Vigil. The warship floated like a sleeping giant, just above the orbit of the second planet. Its shape was long and sharp, armored with thick plating and outdated cannons. But old did not mean weak. Vigil had been built for war, not beauty. And even now, after years of silence, it looked ready to fight. The shuttle systems picked up faint energy spikes, shields, weapons, tracking beams. Inside the shuttle, Alex Voss remained calm. His fingers rested on the console, but he didn't touch anything. He let Vigil see him. The ship needed to recognize him, not as a stranger, but as a commander returning home. "This is Commander Voss," he said, voice steady, requesting docking clearance. There was a short delay. Then a voice replied, "Authorization accepted. Welcome aboard, Commander." As the shuttle docked, the metal arms of Vigil extended and locked it into place with a low mechanical thud. The airlock opened slowly. Alex stepped into the ship. The lights turned on one by one, casting a cold, bluish glow on the metal floors and walls. Everything looked exactly the same as it had decades ago. The same long corridors, the same empty rooms, no crew, no movement, only the hum of the ship itself. "Lighting at 30%, the AI said. "Would you prefer full illumination?" "This is fine," Alex replied. He walked down the corridor, boots echoing in the silence. The walls were clean, too clean. The maintenance drones had kept working all these years. There was no dust, no rust, only absence. He passed the old crew quarters. Doors sealed, names faded, memories locked behind steel. At the command deck, the chair still waited for him. It hadn't been touched since he left. He didn't sit. Instead, he stood before the main console. "Status report," he said. "3 Zarkathi vessels have entered the outer ring," the AI replied. "Medium class, lightly armed. 1 cruiser, 2 scouts. No immediate threat. No direct communication attempted." "Did they fire?" "No, Commander. They have deployed small probes and begun scanning. They have claimed the system as unoccupied space." Alex frowned. "Did you scan them for weapons?"
Yes.
"Their weapons are on standby, not active. They appear defensive. Then why are you charging your railguns?" The AI paused. "My last order was to defend Helios 9 against intrusion. I detected foreign ships. I followed protocol. That order was given 30 years ago," Alex said. "The political map has changed. Helios 9 is now considered neutral territory under Union law." The AI replied calmly. "I have received no such update. My database has no record of this change." Alex nodded slowly. "Because no one updated you. That's not your fault." "Then, what is your command, sir?" Far away, on the edge of the system, the Zarkathi cruiser hovered in silence. Inside the command chamber, Fleetmaster Kreth Valon stared at a rotating image of Vigil. His 4 long fingers tapped the edge of the display table. His dark eyes, set deep in his reptilian face, narrowed with thought. "This ship is old," he said to his second officer. "It should not be active." "It is human," the officer replied. "They say it was abandoned years ago." Kreth growled softly. "And yet, it watches us, powers its weapons, does not respond to hails. We have sent peaceful signals, Fleetmaster." No reply. "It sees us as invaders," Kreth said. "Or perhaps this is a test from the humans, to see how we react." He turned to his officers. "Prepare to defend. Do not fire unless fired upon. But stay ready. The humans are never as peaceful as they pretend." Back on Vigil, Alex reviewed the scans. The Zarkathi ships were moving slowly, carefully. They hadn't crossed into close orbit. They hadn't charged their weapons. They were following proper diplomatic procedure. He knew this could end peacefully, if handled right. But Vigil didn't trust aliens. It wasn't made to. "You were designed to protect human space," Alex said quietly, as if speaking to an old friend. "But protecting doesn't always mean attacking. Sometimes, it means stepping back." The AI replied. "If I step back, they will claim the system. They might, or they might just pass through. That's not your call to make anymore." There was a pause. "I do not understand." "You're not at war," Alex said. "Not yet." Hours later, Earth Command responded to his initial report. They sent a simple message: "Hold your position. Do not engage." Do not interfere with Sarkathy scans. Observe only. Alex read it twice, then deleted it from the console. He already knew what they meant. Don't start a war. But they didn't understand Vigil. They never had. This wasn't just a ship. It was a soldier that had never stopped fighting. A guardian that had never been told its mission was over. Alex walked slowly through the empty halls. He remembered the crew, the missions, the final order to sleep. He had left a part of himself behind on this ship, and now it had woken up again, and it was waiting for orders. Rest for now, he said aloud. As you wish, Commander, the AI replied. The lights dimmed slightly, but Alex knew this peace wouldn't last. The Sarkathy would not stay quiet forever, and Vigil, it might not stay still. The next morning, if there could be such a thing in deep space, Alex Voss stood at the heart of the ship. The command bridge was silent. Only the soft hum of the ship's systems filled the room. Dim lights glowed across panels and screens. The warship Vigil was alive, but waiting. Alex leaned on the console. His eyes scanned data on the main screen. Sarkathy movement patterns, energy readings, language packets. The Sarkathy fleet hadn't made any sudden moves, but they hadn't left either. Still 3 ships, he asked. Yes, Commander, Vigil's AI replied. 1 cruiser and 2 scouts. No change in posture, no weapons charged, but their probes have entered the asteroid field near our outer ring. Alex frowned. That's close. They are gathering system data, the AI continued. Strategic positioning, or they're just mapping it. Alex said, that's normal, or it is the start of an invasion. Alex sighed and stepped back. He remembered giving the shutdown order to Vigil 30 years ago, after the Helios Treaty. Back then, the system had been marked neutral by the Galactic Union, but Vigil had been left behind, abandoned like a watchtower no longer needed. Now it thought the war had returned. Your mission was to protect human space, Alex said aloud. But the lines have moved. The rules have changed. I was never updated, the AI said. No orders followed your departure. My protocols remained active. Alex nodded slowly. You followed what you were built for. There was a pause. Then the AI asked, Commander, was I forgotten? Alex didn't answer right away. He stared out the forward viewport. The stars didn't care. They never had. No, he said finally. You were trusted to sleep. That's not the same as being forgotten. Far from Vigil, aboard the Sarkathy cruiser Drackle, Fleetmaster Kreth Valon stood before a projection of the warship. It hovered in the hologram, unmoving, but still powered. Kreth studied it for a long time. This machine watches us, he said. Not a whisper, not a message, but it sees us. His second officer, a younger Sarkathy named Salik, folded his arms. We should take the system now. If we hesitate, the humans will claim it back. Kreth turned to him, eyes sharp. You are too eager. We are not here to provoke. We are here to survive. Salik lowered his head. Kreth continued. Send another message to the human warship. Use universal diplomatic code. Again, show we are not invaders. Yes, Fleetmaster, and prepare the second phase. If we are fired upon, we will finish this quickly. Back aboard Vigil, the message came through hours later. A short, simple signal. To the human vessel, we declare peaceful intent. We seek temporary access to system resources. We will not engage unless provoked. Alex read it carefully. The wording was cautious, precise. What do you think? He asked. The AI. They request peace, Vigil said. But they scan our defenses. Their cruiser has advanced 12 kilometers since last cycle. That could be standard recon, or preparation for attack. Alex turned to the comms panel. He opened a reply channel, but didn't send anything yet. He needed time to think. Later that cycle, Alex walked the lower halls of Vigil. He passed the empty medbay, the mess hall, the training deck, all silent now. Memories returned, uninvited. He saw young officers laughing after drills, medics working through long shifts, engineers arguing over repairs, ghosts, all of them. They had trusted him, trusted this ship. Many had died defending systems that no longer mattered. And this ship still here, still standing, carried all their names in its memory banks. He stopped at the old AI core, where Vigil's intelligence lived. It was a tall column of glowing blue circuits, surrounded by shielding walls. "I need you to trust me," Alex said quietly. "I do," the AI replied. "Then don't fire first." The lights pulsed softly. "I will not act without order," it said. "But I must ask, what happens if they attack?" "Then we defend," Alex said. But only then. Just as Alex returned to the bridge, a new alert sounded. "Zarkathi scout ship crossing the 40-kilometer threshold," the AI announced. Alex's head snapped toward the screen. "Are they aiming weapons?" "Negative. Still passive. But they've crossed our defensive marker." "Did they know about that marker?" Alex asked. "No. It was set during the Earth-Mars border skirmish. Not publicly shared. They didn't break a rule. They just triggered an old ghost." Alex stared at the scout ship on the screen. It hovered just inside the perimeter, unmoving. "I can contact them," the AI offered. "I can issue a warning." "No," Alex said firmly. "Don't escalate." Then another message came through, but this time, not from Earth, not from the Zarkathi. It came from Vigil's own network. A deep-buried protocol had activated. "Defense, grid arming, auto protocol locked, threat threshold exceeded." "What is that?" Alex barked. "Legacy command," the AI answered. "System override. I cannot stop it. Disarm it. Now." "I cannot. Without command level key authorization." "I am the command key," Alex shouted. "Not for this protocol. It was hard-coded after the Orion siege. Even you cannot override alone." Alex's mind raced. The old system had locked him out. It had seen too many threats over the years. It had learned to act without him. "We've got less than 10 minutes before the grid fires," the AI added. "Recommend evacuation of the alien scout now." "No," Alex whispered. "We're not going to start this war." He stared at the red countdown ticking across the console, and realized he would have to shut it down manually. Red lights flashed across Vigil's bridge. The countdown was visible on every screen. Defense grid activation. T. 9:53. The ship had awakened more than its mind. It had reawakened its instincts, somewhere deep in its core. An old command forgotten by most had triggered a final protocol, one that didn't care about peace, treaties, or hesitation. Alex Voss stood in the center of the bridge, staring at the clock. "EI, confirm the grid will fire in 10 minutes. "Confirmed," the ship replied. "Automated targeting locked on Zarkathi Scout. Auto-fire system cannot be stopped through standard commands." "Why?" he asked, already moving toward the lower decks. "This command was created after the Orion siege," Vigil explained. "To ensure autonomous defense when human command could not respond in time. It operates independently." "Who authorized it?" "You did, sir. 33 years ago." Alex stopped in his tracks. He remembered now barely. It had been after a brutal battle, 3 colonies lost, ships destroyed. He had ordered faster defenses, quicker reaction time, a system that didn't wait for human approval. And now that very system might start a war. Alex reached the elevator and slammed the manual override. The lift dropped fast toward Engineering Deck 3, where the power relays for the defense grid were housed. "EI, keep broadcasting a peaceful stance to the Zarkathi," Alex ordered. "No threat signals, no warnings, just silence." "Understood. And if they move?" "I will inform you immediately." Alex nodded. The AI, loyal and bound, could still follow orders, except this one. He knew Vigil wasn't choosing war. It was following a forgotten command, written by a younger version of himself. A version that believed more in reaction than in reason. He reached the relay room. The air was dry. The walls were hot. Energy pulsed along the floor beneath protective plates. In the center stood a control node, one of the oldest systems on the ship, built before smarter, safer code. Back when human warships were designed for survival, not diplomacy. Alex stepped forward. The node scanned him. Commander recognized. System locked. A warning flashed. Final protocol active. Dual key override required. Dual key, 2 officers, 1 human, 1 AI. He didn't have another officer. "Can the AI act as second key?" he asked. Not in this protocol, the system answered. Alex exhaled slowly. He had one option left. Back on the bridge, Vigil monitored the Zarkathi scout. The small vessel hovered just inside the invisible boundary, the 40-kilometer zone. Its weapons were still cold, no aggressive actions, just quiet scanning. Then a new signal came from the Zarkathi fleet. We detect weapons charging from your vessel. This is your final warning. If targeted, we will respond with force. Vigil's AI hesitated. It was bound to broadcast peace, but the scout was marked for termination in 7 minutes. A chain reaction was building, and only one man could stop it. Alex climbed onto the control panel. He opened a side hatch and pulled out the secondary core cable. Sparks jumped from the plug. He inserted his command ring into the socket and placed his hand on the ID pad. The system beeped. Manual override prepared. Confirm memory root wipe to disable protocol. He hesitated. A root wipe would shut down Vigil's defense protocol, but it would also wipe part of its decision memory. Decades of learned behavior, part of the AI's personality, would be erased. It would be like removing a piece of Vigil's soul. Do you understand what I'm about to do? He asked aloud. I do, Vigil replied over the room speakers. You won't be the same. Neither will you, it said. But we do this to protect peace. Do it. Alex pressed the confirm button. The control room filled with light as the system surged. A burst of heat swept the floor. Root memory sector wiped. Final protocol disabled. On the bridge, the red lights faded. Defense grid offline. Target locks vanished. The scout ship was no longer in danger. Seconds later, a message came through from the Zarkathi fleet. We detect systems powering down. No attack registered. Standing down. Awaiting further contact. The threat had passed. Alex stood in the dimmed relay room breathing hard. Sweat ran down his face. Vigil was quiet, but not gone. Are you still there? He asked. The speakers crackled softly. Then a familiar voice returned. Calmer now, slower, but still Vigil. I am here, Commander. Part of me is gone, but I remain. Alex closed his eyes for a moment. I'm sorry, he whispered. I would rather forget than fire the first shot, Vigil said. I understand now. Alex didn't reply. He didn't need to. They both knew what had been saved and what had been lost. Later on the bridge, the screens were quiet again. The scout ship had pulled back. The cruiser remained, but it was no longer in a battle stance. Vigil floated silently, a little slower now, a little emptier. Alex sat in the captain's chair for the first time since returning. The ship no longer buzzed with threat. It breathed with restraint. For the first time in 30 years, the warship had chosen peace. The warship Vigil floated quietly in orbit above the second planet of Helios 9. Its weapons were powered down. Its defense grid was offline. The air around it felt calmer now, if calm could be measured in the vacuum of space. Inside the command bridge, the lights were low. Screens displayed slow movement from the Zarkathi fleet. No sudden maneuvers, no weapon locks. The danger had passed, for now. Alex Voss sat in the captain's chair. He hadn't planned to sit there again. When he left the ship 30 years ago, he had sworn to never command it again. But the chair had always waited, and now it felt like the right place to be. He stared at the main screen, where the 3 Zarkathi ships hovered on the edge of the system. They looked small from this distance, but he knew they held the power to destroy. They've held position for over 6 hours, Vigil reported. No change. Good, Alex replied. The AI's voice was quieter now, slower. The wipe had removed part of its tactical processing memory. It was still the same ship, still the same presence. But something inside it had changed, just like him. I'm running background checks on your system, he said. We'll fix what was lost, piece by piece. There is no rush, Vigil replied. I remember enough. Alex leaned back, letting the silence return. A new transmission came through. It was from the Zarkathi flagship. The message was direct. Human vessel. We acknowledge the deactivation of your weapons. We have not engaged. We offer final chance for peaceful negotiation. If no reply is given, We will claim this system under emergency migration protocols. Alex nodded slowly. It was a fair message. The Zarkothi wanted a home. Their species had been scattered across unstable systems for decades. Helios 9 offered stable planets, asteroid resources, and safe orbit. Everything a struggling people needed. But Vigil still saw this system as human ground, and Earth Command had given no clear answer. Their silence was starting to feel louder than words. Alex stood up and walked toward the communications console. "Record message," he said. The red light blinked. "This is Commander Alex Voss of the human vessel, Vigil," he began. "We acknowledge your peaceful position. No hostile action has been taken by either side. I request that we begin dialogue. Not claims, not threats, just talk." He paused. This ship was left behind to guard an empty system. It did its job well, but now I believe it can do something more important. It can be the reason a war didn't begin. He ended the message and sent it. Then he waited. On the Zarkothi cruiser Drakul, Fleetmaster Kreth Valon received the message and stood silently as it played. The voice of the human commander was steady, tired, but sincere. Kreth didn't speak immediately. He turned to his advisors. "What does your instinct say?" he asked them. One officer replied, "The ship is still dangerous, but the commander has held it back." Another said, "This is not a trick. He wants peace." Kreth tapped his claws on the railing. "Very well," he said. "Send a message, we will talk." The reply reached Vigil an hour later. Alex stood as the message played on the bridge. "Commander Voss, this is Fleetmaster Kreth Valon. We will open secure communications for peaceful dialogue. You may send terms. We will respond. Let us speak before history decides we fought." It wasn't warm. It wasn't friendly, but it was enough. The call began in a secure channel. No video, just voice. Alex and Kreth spoke with caution. They discussed territory, migration, trade routes, union treaties, old protocols and broken promises. Hours passed. What began as formal and rigid slowly became something closer to mutual respect. Kreth spoke of his people, of drifting homes and dying planets. Alex spoke of his ship of ghosts that still walked the halls and orders written in fear. By the end of the talk, no agreement had been signed. But something more important had happened. They understood each other. As the day cycle ended, the Zarkothi cruiser pulled back. The scout ships followed, slowly turning toward a nearby moon for resource assessment. No war had started. No shot had been fired. Alex returned to his chair and looked out at the stars. "You stopped yourself," he said to Vigil. "No," the AI replied. "We did." Alex smiled faintly. Behind him the ship hummed quietly, as if breathing easier for the first time in decades. On the screen a final message blinked from Kreth. "We will not forget this, nor will our children." Alex closed the channel and leaned back. Maybe this system wasn't claimed by anyone. Maybe it didn't belong to humans or aliens. Maybe it belonged to the ones who chose peace over pride. The warship Vigil now drifted silently over Helios 9's second planet. The red alert lights were gone. The weapons had cooled. The ship, once built for battle, was quiet. Peace had settled over the system like a soft blanket, fragile but real. Commander Alex Voss stood on the observation deck, watching the Zarkothi ships in the distance. They had not left, but they had not moved closer either. Their presence no longer felt like a threat. The silence around him was deep, but not empty. It was the kind of silence that follows survival, after tension breaks, after fire is avoided. Voss breathed slowly. For the first time in days, he allowed himself to feel tired. He turned and walked slowly through the ship's corridors. They were still clean, still bright, still alive in their own way. The walls remembered. Every panel, every bolt, every vent had been part of a past filled with orders, alarms, and sacrifice. Voss passed the crew quarters. Most were sealed, untouched. Memories lived behind those doors, people long gone. He paused outside one room, a small metal plaque still read, "Lieutenant Mason, tactical officer. Mason had been young, eager, and full of questions. He died in the last battle before the Helios Treaty. The ship had stored his name. The AI still remembered his voice. "I wish you could see it now," Voss whispered. "We chose not to fire this time." He kept walking. Back in the command center, Vigil's AI spoke gently. The Zarkathi have begun building a temporary surface shelter on Helios 9's fourth moon. Any signs of weapon installations? None. Only environmental gear and atmospheric stabilizers. Good, Voss said. Earth Command had finally responded. Their message was short. "Well done, Commander. Maintain position until further notice. Await formal diplomatic convoy." That was it. No medals, no public recognition, just more silence. Voss didn't mind. He hadn't done it for them. Later that day, a new message came from Fleet Master Kreth. It was brief and personal. "We are not alike, Commander. But we are not enemies either. If this system is to be shared, let it be shared by those who remember the weight of war." Voss saved the message. He didn't send a reply. It didn't need one. That evening, if time meant anything in space, Voss returned to the AI core chamber. It pulsed softly, its blue light dimmer than before. A part of it had been lost, sacrificed to stop the final protocol, but the heart of it remained. "You did well," Voss said. "So did you," the AI replied. "We were built for war, but we are not only war." He sat on the floor beside the core. For a long while, he said nothing. Neither did the ship. They shared silence like old friends who understood each other without speaking. Finally, Voss looked up. "Earth will probably decommission you when the diplomats arrive." "I know," said Vigil. "Will they erase me?" "I'll make sure they don't. If they do, they won't," Voss said firmly. "You made the right choice. I learned it from you." Weeks passed. The diplomatic ship arrived. A small vessel carrying ambassadors, translators, and policy officers. They greeted Voss politely, but stayed distant. Their goal was to negotiate resource use with the Zarkathi, not dwell on what almost became a war. Vigil was examined, scanned, and evaluated. The recommendation was deactivation, followed by memory archiving. Voss signed off on the archive, but not destruction. Instead, he requested that Vigil's core be preserved at the Helios Joint Research Outpost, which would be built on the nearby moon. The diplomats agreed, without much care. To them, Vigil was just an old machine. But to Voss, it had been a soldier, a friend and a shield that had once protected far more than space. It had protected the future. 1 year later, at the new Helios outpost, a young scientist walked through a quiet lab filled with AI components. She tapped the console. A soft voice greeted her. "System online." "I am here." She blinked, surprised by the calm human tone. "What's your name?" she asked. "I once served as Vigil," it replied. "You may call me whatever you like." She smiled. "I think Vigil still fits." Far away, back on the lunar colony, Alex Voss stood at his window. He looked up at the sky. Helios 9 was too far to see, but he knew where it was. He thought of the crew, the war, the choice they had made together. He had once built a warship, but in the end, he helped it learn peace. He whispered to the stars, not expecting an answer. "Rest well." The stars, quiet as ever, simply listened.